Hello, hello. Sorry I'm late again. Welcome, dog lovers, to Mary's Angels Dog Training, where we are going to talk about um, what positive reinforcement training is and what it means. So we have B.F. Skinner to thank for this. So, and this is a basic outline. Hello, everybody. Yes, I was having internet issues. Sorry. Um, Hello. Thank you for joining. All right. So, let me see. Let me go back again. So B.F. Skinner developed the 4 quadrants of behavior modification. And he was a scientist who studied animal behavior and modification of behavior. And this is true across any species. And it's sort of a simplified version. There's a lot more complexities that we'll maybe go into another time, but we're just going to go over the basics for now. So the term positive reinforcement sounds pretty, but it has a very specific scientific meaning. So for dogs and animals, when it comes to behavior modification, positive means we add something to the situation, means something gets added to the situation. And negative means something gets removed from the situation. So, for example, positive reinforcement would mean we would add a reward for the behavior that we want to see more of. Reinforcement means that the behavior increases in frequency. So if we want our dog to sit and we reward them for sitting, that is positive reinforcement. If we then ask them to sit again and they sit faster or better or with more accuracy. So we increase the behavior of sitting by positively reinforcing that behavior, making it so that the dog wants to do that behavior more. Now, punishment is the opposite of reinforcement. Punishment means that the behavior decreases. So, positive punishment would be adding something to make an animal want to do a behavior less. So, that would be something like a scary noise that happens when the dog barks, or a shock collar or a prong collar where you add pain to the scenario to make the dog want to do the behavior less that you don't, and that's where we want the behavior to, it's a behavior we don't want to see. Now, we also have negative reinforcement and negative punishment. So positive reinforcement, we add something to make the behavior increase. Negative reinforcement is where we remove something to make the behavior increase. So, for example, negative punishment. Oh, Muffins would like to join us for today's session. Say hi, Muffins. Good girl. Yeah. Um, so so for negative reinforcement, if we want the dog to come, this is very commonly used by shock collar trainers or e-collar trainers, as they like to call themselves. So the dog is running, has a shock collar on, and they call the dog, and the dog does not immediately come when they call. So they push the button to cause the shock, and they hold it down until the dog starts to move towards them. And the moment the dog moves towards them, they take their finger off the button, and the shock disappears. So that would be called negative reinforcement, because the behavior of coming to them happens faster when they remove the shock. Now, there's also commonly used in horse training. in just pressure. Basically, you push on a horse's shoulder because you want it to move away from you. And as soon as the horse moves away from you, you remove your hand and you remove that pressure. So it doesn't always have to be pain, but it does have to be something that the animal wants to move away from. And then removing that pressure, removing that pain will then cause the animal to be more likely to do the behavior you want in the future. Positive punishment is adding a uh, positive punishment is adding something to reduce behavior. So, for example, this is commonly used with prong collars or with a bunch of pennies in a can that makes a loud noise when you shake it. So the animal does something you don't want, like pull on leash or bark, and you pull on the leash back and it causes the prongs to dig into the dog's neck. The dog is less likely to pull in the future. That would be positive punishment. You added pain in order to cause the dog to pull less. Um, and then the penny cans, dog barks, you shake the can, it startles the dog is less likely to bark. That's the idea. Then there is negative punishment, which sounds horrible, but it is something that I use. And negative punishment is you remove something to make a dog less likely to do a behavior. And so what I do is look for a I look for what a dog is getting out of a behavior I don't want. For example, a dog that jumps up on the counter and steals food off the counter, well, they're getting positively reinforced for jumping up on the counter by getting the food. So if we remove the food from the counter, I have removed the reward that the dog could get from jumping up on the counter. And that then negatively punishes the behavior for jumping up on the counter. It is no longer worth it to the dog to jump up on the counter, so they are going to decrease the likelihood that they are going to jump up on the counter. So, negative punishment is about taking that, taking the reward the dog is naturally getting from the behavior that we do not want to see, removing the reward that they are getting from that behavior until the dog decides to choose a different behavior, and then positively reinforcing the behavior we want to see instead. I use this a lot with dogs that jump. Dogs that jump, they want your attention. They are trying to greet you. They want you to pay attention to them. So if a dog jumps, I will remove my attention in a way that the dog can very easily see and experience. So a dog jumps on me, I will turn my shoulders away and I will look up away from the dog and I will freeze. So I am no longer moving. I am very obviously ignoring the dog. And then the moment that the dog chooses a different behavior, like sitting or standing still with its paws or paws on the floor or sniffing my leg or something else that is not jumping on me, then I will positively reinforce that by turning towards the dog and giving them my attention. So that is the basic idea of the 4 quadrants. We have positive and negative, reinforcement and punishment, and we have positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, positive punishment, and negative punishment. And what this becomes is the 4 quadrants of how we modify animal behavior. So, um, removing my method is to remove the rewards the dog gets from behavior that we don't want, and then reward the behavior that we do want in a way that the dog understands that that will get them their desired outcome. Um, So, yes, I hope that this has been an informative talk. It's going to be one of our shorter ones. If anybody has any questions, I'll give a moment for anyone to drop any questions in the chat. But that turned off again. Um, But yes, if nobody has any questions, then we will call it there. I hope that this has been informative for you. And if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments down below. Please like and subscribe. Oh, and I also wanted to announce that I have partnered with Fresh Patch. So Fresh Patch will ship a fresh patch of grass to you, no matter where you are, so that your dog has some fresh grass to pee and poop on. And they will ship it every week, every other week, every 3 weeks on a schedule that meets your needs and fits your help or fits your situation. You can choose the size of the patch of grass. This is really popular for people who live in apartments or condos. It can also be really helpful if your backyard, like mine, is full of foxtails. We do not want our dogs to end up with foxtails, so we might get a patch of a fresh patch, fence off the area that has foxtails, and allow our dogs to still have the access to grass that they're used to pooping and peeing on. And it stays nice and fresh. It's not like synthetic grass that stinks really bad in the sun after a dog has pooped or peed on it. So please feel free to reach out to Fresh Patch. And if you use the code Mary's Angels, that is MARYSANGELS, Mary's Angels, you will get 10% off your first order of Fresh Patch grass. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and please make sure to love on your dogs today. Bye.